I had the divorce papers in the glove compartment of my car the night everything changed. Signed, dated, ready to be filed first thing Monday morning. I'd rehearse what I'd say to her. Calm, detached, practiced. We've grown apart. I'd tell her, this isn't working anymore. But none of that happened, because that same night, I overheard something that broke me and somehow put me back together. For months, I'd been living like a ghost in my own house. My wife, Layla, and I barely spoke unless it was about bills or errands. Our dinners had turned into quiet, awkward rituals, two strangers sharing the same table out of habit. The laughter, the inside jokes, the touches that used to happen so naturally, all gone. It started after I lost my job last year. 20 years at the same company, and suddenly I was redundant. I told myself it was just a rough patch, that I'd bounce back. But weeks turned to months, and I could feel her patience thinning. She didn't say it outright, but her eyes did, the disappointment, the frustration. Then came the late-night texts, the sudden burst of laughter at her phone, the new perfume, the longer showers. I wasn't stupid. I knew what those things usually meant. Still, I didn't confront her, not yet. I needed proof, or maybe I just needed courage. So I started paying attention. I checked her phone once, just once, while she was asleep. There were no messages, nothing incriminating, but she deleted her call history. That told me enough. That's when I made up my mind. Divorce. Quiet, clean, no scene. I didn't want revenge. I just wanted my dignity back. 2 nights before I planned to leave, she told me she was going out with her friends. Just dinner and drinks, she said, barely looking up from her mirror. I nodded, pretending not to care. But after she left, something in me twisted, a mix of anger and curiosity. I grabbed my jacket and drove to the restaurant she mentioned. I parked across the street, told myself I'd just see who she was really with. Through the window, I saw her, sitting with 3 of her old college friends, laughing, animated, no man in sight. For a second, I actually felt relieved. Maybe I'd been wrong. Maybe my insecurities had turned me paranoid. Then I saw one of her friends lean in and say something that made Layla's expression shift. Her shoulders stiffened, her smile faltered. And then, God help me, I saw tears. She was crying. That's when I did something stupid. I got out of the car, walked up to the side of the restaurant, and stood near the open window where they were seated. The music was loud, but I could make out her voice. He's not the same anymore, she was saying. He barely talks. He just sits there, like he's somewhere else. Her friend asked softly, do you still love him? Layla hesitated. Then she said the word that nearly shattered me. I don't know, but I remember why I fell in love with him. And that's what's killing me. I stopped breathing. She went on, voice trembling. He thinks I don't notice, but I see how lost he looks. He doesn't laugh like he used to. He doesn't even argue. It's like he's given up on himself. And maybe on us. I know I've been distant, but it's not because I stopped loving him. It's because I don't know how to reach him anymore. Her friend reached over, touched her hand. Layla laughed bitterly through her tears. Sometimes I think he deserves someone better. Someone who still believes in him. But then I remember how he used to look at me, like I was enough. And I just want that back. I felt something inside me crack open. Shame, guilt, confusion, all tangled up. I'd been so convinced she was cheating, so ready to walk away, that I never stopped to ask if maybe she was hurting too. I slipped back into my car before she saw me. Sat there for almost an hour, staring at the steering wheel. The divorce papers on the passenger seat suddenly looked ridiculous, like a surrender note I'd written out of pride, not truth. When she got home that night, she found me in the kitchen, making tea. She looked surprised. "You're up," she said cautiously. "Yeah," I said. "Couldn't sleep." We stood there in silence for a long moment. Then, without really knowing why, I said, "Do you remember our first apartment? The one with the broken heater?" She blinked, caught off guard. "Of course. We used to boil water to stay warm." I smiled faintly. "You used to tuck your cold feet under my legs when we watched TV." That made her laugh. A small, real laugh. I don't know what came over me, but I reached out and took her hand. She didn't pull away. Her fingers felt tense at first, then soft, familiar. We didn't talk about the months of silence, the suspicion, or the emotional distance. Not that night. But something shifted, like a window cracked open in a room that had been closed too long. Over the next few weeks, we started rebuilding, awkwardly, clumsily, but honestly. We went for walks, cooked together. She told me about her fears, that I'd stopped seeing her, that she felt invisible. And I told her about my shame, the failure I couldn't admit, the pride that kept me from asking for help. It wasn't a perfect reconciliation. We still argued. We still had moments of doubt. But for the first time in a long time, we were trying. And sometimes, late at night, I think back to that evening outside the restaurant. How close I came to walking away from the only person who ever truly knew me. Last week, while cleaning out the car, I found the envelope with the divorce papers. I sat there for a while, staring at my own signature, the date. Then I tore it in half. Slowly, deliberately. Because I finally understood something. Marriage isn't about never breaking. It's about deciding to mend, even when the cracks run deep. And sometimes, love doesn't sound like grand confessions or apologies. Sometimes, it's just a quiet voice saying, I still believe in you.